Two notorious criminal investigations in Western Virginia have fueled the writing of Ron Peterson Jr. The cases have produced really popular books.
And the latest is now being adapted for television. Tonight, Joe DeShiel has more on the Virginia author and the cases that captured his attention.
Ron Peterson Jr. was a student at Radford University in the mid-'80s.
I'd heard about the Gina Hall case then. It was one of those things that had just always stuck in my mind.
Years later, when he decided to write a book, he returned to the disappearance of Radford University student Gina Hall and the investigation of Stephen Epperly. The former Virginia Tech football player was the first person in Virginia convicted of murder without the body of the victim ever being found. Under the Trestle would lead to Hall's second book when the lead investigator on the Gina Hall case suggested another.
He said, "Hey, if this book does well, you got to write about Wally Thrasher." And my first comment was, "Who is Wally Thrasher?" And he took about 10 minutes to fill me in, and I was hooked.
Chasing the Squirrel, the pursuit of the notorious drug smuggler Wally Thrasher was released in 2020.
The deeper I dug into the story, the more amazed I was at the twists and turns. And, you know, it's something if you wrote a novel or made a fictional movie about it, a lot of people would think it was too far-fetched.
The story of drug running between South America and Southwest Virginia and the exploits and disappearance of Thrasher is now being adapted by Urban Legends Film Company for a television documentary series that will likely air on a streaming service. But Peterson says one of the biggest payoffs for him has been getting to know the investigators involved in the cases he's profiled.
To get to know some of them as well as I have, and learn a little bit about what they do, hear them tell the stories about it, you know, just makes me realize how interesting it was, and also how dedicated they were to, for example, keeping drugs out of Southwest Virginia.
The working title for the documentary series is Where's Wally? And Peterson says it should reach our television screens in a year or two. Joe DeShiel, WDBJ 7.
All right, interesting topics.
I think